Welcome back to Hyrax Movie. Today we bring you a thrilling story that begins deep in the heart of the Caribbean, where a family on a joyful vacation finds themselves trapped in a nightmare where air, water, and death collide. So buckle up because this story will drag you straight into the heart of insanity. In the middle of the Caribbean Sea, a family is on vacation on their yacht. Julia jumps into the water to swim. While resting, she feels something strange. But because she can't see anything around, she thinks that maybe it's her illusion. A few seconds later, the same strange feeling happens again. This time too, nothing is visible. But now she gets scared and starts swimming towards the yacht. Then suddenly someone starts pulling her leg and she starts screaming for help. She can't hear anything because of the kind of headphones her daughter is listening to. Husband Tom and son Ben are busy catching fish. Julia tries to stick to the water, but it becomes difficult to scream because of the water in her mouth. After a while, Tom realizes that he hasn't seen Julia for a long time. He finds her on the yacht and then sees his wife in danger. He calls the kids, takes the yacht that way, and jumps into the water. He quickly reaches Julia, takes care of her, and swims towards the yacht. The kids pull both of them up. The family takes care of Julia, but Julia explains to herself that maybe it happened because of the waves. Everyone celebrates Ben's birthday together at night. Cassie gets a call from her boyfriend, so she takes the laptop and goes out. In the video call, her boyfriend shows that there are big black clouds over the city. The call gets glitched and freezes. Cassie comes to tell this to the family, but Tom says that maybe the signal is weak because it is far from the ground. Then everyone hears a voice. They all go out and see that a group of whalefish is passing by. Tom explains that the whalefish always follow the magnetic field of the earth, but when the storm comes, they get confused. Suddenly, the yacht shakes violently and Ben falls. Tom is worried that the yacht has not been damaged, so he goes down to check. After a while, he comes back to the surface, but he has a big wound on his shoulder. Julia immediately stitches his wound. Tom says that he felt like there was a big creature behind him in the water, but when he turned around, he was cut by the propeller. He says that whatever it was very big. Tom sees a lot of damage on the yacht, so he has to call for help. Julia keeps trying on the radio again and again. Cassie finds the signal on the phone, but nothing works. Then Cassie sees a strange creature and she shouts, but it is just Ben who is joking wearing a mask. After a while, the yacht completely shuts down and gets stuck in the middle of the sea. Julia hears a voice on the radio, but the voice is so bad that she does not understand anything. Tom tells the family that they have only 4 days of food and water left, and now they have to wait for a fishing boat. Suddenly, something is detected on the radar, and the family hears a strange voice. Everyone runs out and is surprised to see that many fishing boats are falling on the ground. There are big explosions where fishing boats fall. A fishing boat falls into the water, so Tom immediately tries to drive the yacht. The engine runs with difficulty, but then another fishing boat hits that area. The family holds each other tightly out of fear. Then Tom realizes that the fireballs falling are not fishing boats but satellites. At the same time, Ben sees that smoke is coming out of the yacht. Tom checks and confirms that the engine is broken. As the wind gets faster, the family hides inside the yacht, without noticing that the compass is spinning very fast. The yacht starts to shake violently. Ben falls again, and this time he also gets hurt. The waves are quickly colliding with the yacht. Tom struggles and goes out and brings life jackets. Then the power goes off. Tom immediately presses the power box button and the light comes back. At that time, Ben notices that blood is flowing from Julia's nose. Julia starts to feel dizzy while Cassie goes to the sink and vomits. Tom keeps trying the radio but does not get the signal. Suddenly, a loud high-pitched noise comes and the wind gets even stronger. Julia tries to close the doors, but a hatch opens and the wind starts to break the windows. Tom lights a flare and after a while it gets dark. The next morning, the family gets up in shock that they have survived the storm, but the yacht has been destroyed. When they come out, they see that the seawater has disappeared and the yacht is stuck on the ground now. Everyone is shocked to see this. Cassie checks the signal, but the network is completely down. Ben starts playing with 2 dead crickets. Tom checks the compass and sees that it is upside down. This was the last time 7 lakh years ago. Cassie thinks that her boyfriend must have died and she breaks. When Julia comes to make her understand, Cassie takes her away and goes to hide. Julia and Tom see the remaining supplies. Ben ties his birthday balloons to a stone so that maybe a survivor can see it. Tom tries the radio again, and this time there is a connection with a man. His name is Now, and he is the captain of a submarine. His submarine is also stuck on the land. He confirms that the magnetic poles have been reversed, so the ocean has moved back and the ground has sunk. He says that he has not seen any more survivors and the communication systems are completely down. He also says that the poles will be reversed again, and maybe the sea will come back in a week. He warns the family to climb as high as possible, because when the water comes back, it will be very dangerous. He says that his partner was killed in the crash and there are only 3 people in the submarine. Julia and Tom tell him to please save our children. He gives them his coordinates. Tom calculates that it will take 2 to 3 days to reach the submarine. He tells the family to rest well tonight. We will leave tomorrow morning. The next morning, the family is packing their things, then Tom sees something moving nearby. He is a lame man who has a harpoon in his hand and a dog is constantly barking. Tom goes to him and gives him a bottle of water, but that man speaks in such a language that Tom does not understand. After drinking water, that stranger suddenly hits a bottle on Tom's head and kicks him on the face. Julia runs away in fear, but it is too late by then. That man has put a harpoon in Tom's stomach. Tom suffers for a while and then he also cuts his neck. Then that man runs after Julia and throws a harpoon at her, which injures her shoulder. Julia runs into the yacht in pain and tells the children to hide. She locks the door. Cassie and Ben enter the sofa. Julia gives them a flare gun and hides in the bathroom with a knife. That man pushes the door hard and finally gets inside. First he picks up some food and then starts looking for it here and there in the yacht. Then he goes to the bathroom. But Julia smartly gets out of a small hole. That man thinks that Julia has run away, but as soon as she starts coming out slowly, his dog sees her and starts barking. The dog slaps him, so Julia kills him with a knife. Hearing the dog scream, that man comes out and is terrified to see his dog's corpse. Meanwhile, Julia tries to go inside from the other side of the yacht. She climbs up and starts entering through the broken window. But that man already reaches there. He grabs her and punches her hard, which makes her fall down. Julia grabs the furniture and tries to escape. But that man kicks her and throws her away. Then he puts his foot on her wrist so that she leaves the knife. And then he grabs her hair, slams her face into the ground and throws her onto the sofa, strangling her violently. The children watch in horror. Cassie rushes out and fires a flare gun. It hits the man directly, lighting him ablaze. He screams, gets up, and starts spreading fire all over the yacht. The children run away immediately, but Julia comes back, kicks him hard, and throws him to the floor. She grabs the map and the bag and runs for her life. Ben and Cassie rush to their father's body, crying uncontrollably. Julia kneels beside them, and the 3 of them say their tearful goodbyes to Tom. But that terrifying man rises from the burning yacht once again, forcing the family to run. Moments later, a massive explosion rips through the yacht, lighting up the dark sky. After walking for a while, they stop near a small waterfall to rest. Cassie breaks down, saying that the madman might have followed them after seeing Ben's balloons. Hearing this, Ben blames himself, but Julia consoles him. "It's not your fault," she says softly, "but we have to keep moving." He's still out there. On the way, they find a small pond and a dead hammerhead shark lying beside it. The sight is terrifying. Julia suddenly realizes that the man is close again. They run, tumble down a sand dune, and land beside a pool of poisonous waste. Carefully, the family crosses it, leaving the madman far behind. As they continue, they pass a landscape filled with plastic waste, dead fish, and the silent graveyard of the ocean. Ben starts to slow down. Julia notices the signs of dehydration. She stops and checks the bottle. It's almost empty. Shocked, she realizes the water is gone. Cassie admits she might not have closed the bottle properly. Julia yells in anger, "The water's gone because of your carelessness." Cassie shouts back, "It doesn't matter. We're not going to survive anyway." Their argument echoes across the barren land, but they keep walking. After some time, they discover a crashed airplane. Something moves inside, but it's only birds. They decide to spend the night in the wreckage. They share a small snack. Julia finds an old family photo in Tom's jacket. Her heart shatters. Cassie quietly asks, "Mom, what was your love story with Dad?" Julia smiles sadly and replies, "He was my patient at the hospital. One day he brought me flowers and a poem that changed my life." Later that night, Cassie steps outside. Suddenly, the terrifying man reappears and grabs her from behind. But Julia bursts out of the darkness screaming and stabs him again and again until he collapses. Cassie hugs her trembling mother tightly, both shaking and crying. The next morning, the man's corpse lies covered in insects. The family notices multiple deep wounds on his body, proof that there's something even more dangerous lurking nearby. As they leave, Hundreds of crickets crawl out of his mouth. Hours later, while Julia and Cassie are studying the map, Ben wanders ahead. Julia screams, "Stop!" But Ben bends down and drinks from a dirty pond. Julia rushes, pulls him away, warning, "Unknown water can kill you." The sun gets hotter. They cover their heads with torn clothes. Ben begins to faint. They find some broken chairs and build a small shelter. Julia injects him with medicine and decides they'll rest for the night. At dawn, Julia wakes to a strange noise. She looks outside. A massive swarm of crabs is approaching. She grabs the children and runs. As they flee, they spot a large cargo ship. 3 crew members are still alive. One woman wants to help them, but the 2 men refuse and lock the container doors.